What's up everybody, Gamma Spidey here, back in my gym in Southern California. Today I train chest, and I wanted to show you guys the workout that I put myself through. It's kind of basic to intermediate, but super effective. It's something that I would do myself or have a client do. And we'll talk about the exercises, the sets, the reps, all that good stuff. So let's get started.
Okay, so as usual, I like to warm up the muscle groups that are going to be training during the workout. This is a chest workout, but the shoulders and triceps are also involved in the movements. So I like to make sure I got plenty of blood going through the shoulders and the triceps and chest. Using very light weight, doing some front raises, as well as some lateral raises and some rotator cuff movements. And I also did some push-ups, although I didn't film that, but I did do some push-ups to get some blood into the pecs as well. The weight used for warm-up sets should be very light. Again, you're not trying to get a burn, you're just trying to pump some blood into the muscles that you're going to be working. And just 2, maybe 3 warm-up sets should be good for each muscle group, or until you feel warmed up and ready for your workout. The first exercise I did was flat bench dumbbell press. That's right, I didn't start with bench press. But that's just a personal thing. I personally do not do bench press because of shoulder issues that I have, but I don't have anything against bench press. I think it's a great exercise, and if you can do it without any issues and discomfort, then go for it. But whether you're doing bench press or dumbbell press or any sort of chest pressing type movement, the range of motion should be about the same. I recommend on the descent or eccentric part of the movement that you bring your elbows down to be in line with the shoulder joint, or no more than 2 inches behind your shoulder joint. At the top of the movement, or the concentric phase of the movement, I recommend that you straighten the arms out and focus on bringing your elbows towards each other rather than just bringing the weight together to get a nice full contraction on the pecs. But remember, never lock out your elbows. The next exercise I did was horizontal cable flies. Real quick, I want to point out how I start this movement. I pick each handle up one at a time, and then before starting my first rep, I push out from the center of my chest. And the reason I recommend starting cable flies like this is to avoid putting any undue stress on the rotator muscles and hopefully help prevent any injury, especially when the weight gets heavier. So for the cable flies, I'm doing a similar movement as I did with the chest press, only now my palms are facing each other and my elbows are open slightly wider at the bottom of the movement. Again, at the top of the movement, I'm focusing on bringing my elbows towards each other and straightening out the arms. And as you can see, my wrist, elbow, and shoulder joints are all in line with the cable. As I bring my arms back, I'm bending the arms, but not opening them up any more than about 100 degrees. This helps prevent putting any undue stress on the bicep. At the top of the movement, make sure that you're contracting or flexing the pecs every single rep to make sure that, as I tell my clients, you're making every rep count. So the next exercise I did was incline dumbbell press to work on the upper pec, and I supersetted these with some incline dumbbell flies. There's a couple reasons I did this. One, it's a great way to work your way through the muscle fibers and break down the muscle tissue. But also, it kind of mimics doing a drop set, because when I pick up weight for the flies, it's going to be significantly lighter. This will allow me to continue on pushing out reps, whereas if I had kept the heavy weight, I probably would have had to stop a lot sooner. Reasonable time under tension is what helps stimulate muscle growth from a workout. With the dumbbell press, I kept my rep range about the same, doing about 20 reps on the first set, and as I increased the weight, I made my way down to about 8 to 10 reps on my last set. Then, when I went into the dumbbell flies, I did as many reps as I could with good form until complete muscle fatigue. But I did choose a weight that I knew I could get at least 10 reps with every time. As you can see, I went immediately into the dumbbell flies after finishing the dumbbell press and did as many as I could. One thing I'd like to comment on is the amount of weight I'm using. Quite often, people say to me, "Gamma, it doesn't look like you're lifting very heavy weight." To which my reply is, although you want sufficient amount of weight, how heavy the weight is not important as what you do with it. In this particular set, I went from 50-pound dumbbell press down to 25-pound dumbbell flies. I chose this weight not because I read it in a magazine somewhere, but because, from experience, I knew that to reach my rep goals, these weights would be sufficient. And because I was focusing on having good form and contracting the pecs at the top of every movement, as you can hear and see, the weight was definitely heavy enough for me. Okay, so anyway, the next exercise was cable flies, or cable crossovers as some people call them. And as you can see, again, I'm grabbing each handle one at a time and pressing from the center of my chest before starting the movement. This exercise works the overall pec, but at this angle tends to put more stress on the outer and lower pec, which is great for adding width and depth to your chest. As with all fly movements, I'm bending my arms on the way back, making sure that my elbows open no more than about 100 degrees, and then straightening my arms at the bottom of the movement so that I get a full contraction on the pecs. Again, when I come back, I'm trying not to let my elbows go more than 2 inches behind me, and at the bottom of the movement, I'm flexing or contracting the pecs every single time. And one thing I want to point out, even though you can't see it in these shots, is that my feet are at a staggered stance. I have one foot in front of the other for good stability. At the end of the exercise, I set down each handle one at a time to help protect the shoulders and rotator muscles. I usually like to finish my chest workouts with the same way I start them, with push-ups. Only this time, instead of a couple warm-up sets, I'm doing about 4 to 5 sets and putting a lot more effort into it. Push-ups are a great exercise to put at the end of a chest workout because you're only using your body weight, and even then, there's lots of different ways that you can modify the push-ups to either increase or decrease the resistance that's put on your chest. Just as with any other exercise, having good form during push-ups is very important. In order to make sure that you're putting the majority of your body weight resistance on your pecs and not too much on your triceps, you want to place your hands slightly wider than shoulder width and keep the midline of your chest in line with your hand position. This means that at the top of the push-up, your shoulders should be just slightly forward of your wrists. One variation I like to use with push-ups are the push-up handles. If your gym doesn't have push-up handles, you could use heavy dumbbells that have a hexagonal head, instead of the round ones that could roll around while you're trying to do your push-ups. Now, to be honest, using the handles does not change how the push-up exercise works the chest. But there are a couple reasons why I like to use them. For one, the handles make the movement a bit more comfortable for the wrists. And also, elevating the hands off the floor a bit can help you get a nice range of motion, allowing the chest to go deep enough to where, again, the elbows are going just about 2 inches behind you. Contrary to popular belief, a good push-up range of motion does not have to involve your chest touching the floor. Stretching the pecs out too much on any chest exercise could put them at risk for injury. Another variation I did was to use push-up handles with wheels. As you can see, it makes your hands very unstable, and this causes you to recruit more muscle fibers within the pecs and also the shoulders and arms. If your gym doesn't have these, there are other ways to get creative with your push-ups. I just wanted to show a few examples of ways to make your push-ups more challenging and hit your chest from different angles. You can also mimic this movement without the wheels by keeping one arm out wide as you see here and the other one in the normal push-up position, and even though your hands will remain stationary, you could perform the push-ups this way as well. Regardless of how you do your push-ups, the goal is still the same, and that's to work the chest. So make sure that at the top of every rep, you're contracting or flexing the pecs, and that the depth of the push-up does not cause your elbow to go more than 1 or 2 inches behind your back. Now, for those of you out there that have difficulty doing a standard push-up, there are more ways you can modify push-ups to make them a bit more doable. As you can see here, I got my knees on a pad, my hips are placed just above my knees. This takes some of the body weight off of my chest so that I can do them more easily. As you get stronger at this, put your hips more forward of the knees like this, adding more body weight to the chest. As you continue to progress and get stronger, you can put your hips farther forward until eventually you'll be able to put your feet down and perform a standard push-up. A couple other variations are wide stance push-ups, which make the push-ups slightly easier because you're using less stabilizing muscles. Or you could do the opposite by crossing your foot over one ankle, putting your stance on one foot, and making the push-up slightly more difficult. So that wraps up my chest workout, and I hope this video was helpful. For a more detailed outline of the chest workout, including the amounts of sets and reps, check out the blog post on my website, gammaspidey.com. I'll post a link to the blog post in the description below. And as always, feel free to leave any questions or suggestions in the comments below, or you can email me at gammaspidey260@gmail.com. And until next time, thanks for watching.